Amateur Girl and Fanboy present the Big Bad Glass Movie Review.
Paul Rudd is a lifelong fan of what NFL team? Stick around until the end of our reel to find out.
Hi, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
I had to look at that one several times to make sure I pronounce it right. Quantumania.
Yeah. As my children would probably tease me right now and say, what do you do for a living?
I'm a truck driver.
A teacher, but I'm not perfect. Quantumania.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
Quantumania. So amateur girl, and I'm fanboy with the Big Bad Glass movie rant. So I will let her begin her review today.
So I'll keep mine short. Anything with Paul Rudd, I love. I love Paul Rudd. Who doesn't love Paul Rudd?
Even the guys
he's
love
America's
Paul Rudd.
sweetheart.
Yeah.
Right? America's sweetheart for men and Michelle Pfeiffer, gorgeous. She really is a fox. How old is she?
She's got to be my age or older. I didn't look it up, but I'm thinking she's in her 60s easily. So, I remember her with Beau Bridges and Jeff Bridges doing one of those two piano guy movies way back in the 80s, and she was beautiful then, and now Beau Bridges is gone, and Jeff Bridges looks like he's been dragged around the courtyard by a horse quite a few times. Poor guy. And he's had cancer and COVID and all these horrible things. And Michelle Pfeiffer still looks like fantastic.
Gorgeous.
Right? Yeah.
Loved her in it. Super fun. Love Michael Douglas. Huge fan. Love the ant army.
Holy crap.
I just
giant
found that
ants
to be super fun. Loved the quantum realm. I thought that was really fun to watch, all the little ideas they had in there. It was just fun to see like the vision that they had about what the quantum realm is. Did I love this movie? My son and I went home. Sure. So those are all my loves. Those are all my things I loved about the film. But my mind did wander. If I had been at home, it would not have passed my fast forward test. I would have probably fast forwarded a couple parts. So that's always brings it down for me. I did not like Jonathan Majors. Is that his name? Oh my
Jonathan
God.
Majors.
So boring.
Oh, you find him boring. He's in a lot of. He's in the Creed 3 as the nemesis in Creed 3, and he's been in quite a few movies. I saw one recently that I liked him in. I wish I could remember what it was, but I remember seeing him and I said, "Oh yeah, I like this guy." I liked him. Anyway, I can go on and on. You know me, so go ahead and continue.
Snooze fest. I was like, wake up. I could see maybe why he went that way, because he's trying to because there's going to be so many of them that we found out at the end. But maybe him trying to show different characters. I don't know. I didn't like it. I thought he was boring. I'm sure he's a wonderful actor, but I just thought I really wanted to fall asleep during his.
So parts. you would love to see the girl who played Black Panther and him together in a movie, because you could really come out with a hate fest on that one, huh?
Yeah, that girl's too skinny to be too skinny. Black Panther. But anyway, and then was it a fun ride? Yes, but was it Guardians of the Galaxy, where it was just like, wow, this is a fantastic film. Oh my God, I want to see it again. No, but then my son did remind me that the first Ant-Man was super fun. So yes, I loved the first Ant-Man. Can't remember the second one. I'm sure it was good. This one was a good number 3, but if it was a number 1, it would have been forgettable. And that's my review. The end.
Well, it's pretty similar. You're falling around the 60, 70, 80% mark, you think, for a big glass review?
80. Let's say 80, because it's Paul Rudd. So
I'll go ahead and do this right at the beginning. I'm falling in between somewhere between 60 and 50%. One reason I had issues with it. Did I like it as an entertainment? I did. I went to the IMAX 3D. Fantastic, like you said, fantastic ride. Paul Rudd, always funny. Not enough Paul Rudd. And the interesting part about this, if you've ever watched Rick and Morty, which is I think this show is heavily inspired by Rick and Morty.
There she is. All right, come on, Morty, let's go. Oh, jeez. Okay. Oh, man, what is this place? It's Dimension 35C, and it's got the perfect climate conditions for a special type of tree, Morty, called a mega tree. And there's fruit in those trees, and there's seeds in those fruits. I'm talking about mega seeds. They're incredibly powerful, and I need them to help me with my research.
By Rick and Morty. Because they hired one of the right, which is interesting. The first two movies, which I thought were much better, right? Because the humor and everything. Same director, Peyton Reed. He did a local interest for the San Diego people, or Escondido, wherever they shot that. Bring It On. He did Bring It On.
Give me an F.
Right, that supposedly our brother was an extra in. I tried to freeze frame it to find him, but I haven't found him sitting in the bleachers. Yes Man. He did Yes Man, which is a good movie, right? And he's done all the Ant-Man. So the pedigree of this is very good. He's got a good director. The first two he did, it was fantastic. And I'll tell you why I'm falling down on the low end on this one in a minute. And then the first two they must have had 5 or 6 screenwriters, including Paul Rudd, on the first two. So they must have done a lot of improvising and and just kind of like shoot off the making it up as they went along. That's what it looks like with that many writers, right? Whereas this one writer, Jeff Loveless, who they brought in from I guess he'd done some other things, but I think his main thing is he's done Rick and Morty. Are you familiar? You familiar with Rick and Morty? If you're not, you should go watch it. It's pretty funny. It's like an animated series with about this psycho uncle scientist who lives in this house. It's kind of like what I was doing during COVID. Lives in that house with this family, and he's this mad scientist. And then the son, his nephew, they go on these crazy kind of like Back to the Future type adventures. So it has that feel to it. And so it was kind of good to bring that guy in, because the quantum mania was the quantum realm was very much in the spirit of Rick and Morty, right? This kind of bizarre characters and stuff that they bring, but they could have done more. That's what I think. They could have done more with it. The Bill Murray, they whisk him in and whisk him out.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell is this? Here he is, and then goodbye. Is he going to come back later? We don't know. King, for me, the entire movie was almost it was created to be a ripoff of Matrix, Star Wars. I guess they can rip off their own Guardians of the Galaxy, but I guess they can, right? Because they're Marvel. And it's an elaborate introduction of Kang, who's going to evidently be in quite a few of these Marvel movies as a new character.
Great.
Yeah, get used to it. He's going to be around for a while, at least for a few movies, right? So that's that was it. But as an entertainment, I laughed. I love the oozy guy. The ooze guy. You drink it, and you thought that was clever, so you can understand what everybody's saying. Right here, drink this.
Yeah.
And again, I said I wish they had more of that kind of stuff, because that's kind of Rick and Morty type characters, and I wish they had more of it. And I thought there wasn't as much humor as they had in the first two. Paul Rudd wasn't given enough, Paul Ruddiness to do his do his thing, right? It was kind of all over the place, because you kept cutting from character to character, and I understand it when you're trying to put something together like that, and it's a big world, right? And you got to cover all these different, I think a movie like that or a story like that would have been better as a series, a mini series. That way you can dwell on little elements a little bit more, because it's such a big world, right? It's a big story.
There's something you don't see every
and
day.
I like big, and I love, what was compared to what's that crappy movie with The Rock? What was that? Dwayne Johnson?
Black Adam.
Black Adam. Yeah, compared to Black Adam, fantastic movie. It's like a masterpiece compared to that. And it was a big story, right? So, and it's kind of, and of course with Marvel, everything's big and everything, kind of fits together in a little puzzle. And if it doesn't fit together in a puzzle, they just call it an alternate universe and move on. Right. And DC's kind of ripping them off now, because I noticed that they're going to be doing that with the Flash, which is so weird. It's almost like the Spider-Man multiverse thing. And this multiverse thing is becoming like over the top.
Yeah.
Right. They're just doing too much of it now. But anyway, so I would give it a is there anything much else I can say about this? Not much. I wanted to do a new, about 50 to 60%. I'm somewhere in between, kind of like, I don't want to say 50% because that means I hated half of it. I don't know if I hated half of it, but it brings us to my new Cinema Yin Yang.
Cinema Yin Yang.
I'll tell you one thing I love and one thing I hated about the movie. So if I give you, let me see if you can guess some of these things. So I love Bill Murray was in it, but I hated that he was only in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Ridiculous. I love that Bill Murray was
concur.
attacked. The character that Bill Murray, I love that he was attacked by the thing he was eating, right? But I hated the fact that they didn't show him actually being eaten himself. They just show him dangling. So maybe he's coming back. I loved it that it was IMAX 3D. But I hated that there was not more story to it, right? I mean, it's a big story, but it was just a lot of running around and it's the Star Wars ships chasing each other around and blah blah blah, right? And the story itself was real basic, I love that Paul Rudd is Ant-Man, but I hated there wasn't not enough of him. Like I said, there just wasn't enough Paul Rudd, and that was that's what we like. I love that it was about the quantum universe, but I hated that we didn't really learn much about it other than the characters that live in it, and we just didn't get a deep enough more information about it, right? I love that Jeff Loveless was the only writer credited, but I hated that his script was overwhelmed by the production, because I think that this has become one of those things where it's overly produced, right? And they were just so, I guess, caught up in the quantum realm. they just wanted to fly around that world and have more. And I think as a video game, it'd be fantastic. I kept looking and said, man, but again, it's a kind of a ripoff of the Matrix, because you got Kang saying, because there's so many of me coming, just like Agent Smith, right? So, you just keep seeing these little things. I love the quantum universe, but just like I said, I hated that it was so derivative of these, of the Matrix, of Star Wars. I mean, I think one critic did say it was, this is Marvel's Star Wars, right? So, I love Michelle Pfeiffer. She looks like $1 million at her age. I mean, she's probably about my age, which is, getting up there. I won't say, but I hated that Michael Douglas looked like he was $2.79, right? It's like he's another one that's been dragged around a lot, by life, I guess. I love that they did Ant-Man 3, but I hated that it was mostly a vehicle to introduce Kang, as into the Marvel universe, right? I love that Jeff Loveless from Rick and Morty wrote the screenplay, but I hate there was not enough. I think I've already said that, enough Rick and Morty humor. So if you haven't watched Rick and Morty, you got to go out and watch that, because that's it's very inspirational. You'll know what I mean when you watch it. So other than that, I think that is our review for today.
Yeah.
Okay, so that has been our review of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So which reminds me of the old Quantumania. Reminds me of the old the Who album, Quadrophenia, for some reason. And if you're familiar with that movie, it's a pretty good movie and a good album. But that's because it comes from the old days, from the 70s, and I'm one of those guys. All right. Good night, Internet, or good day, Internet. And I hope to see you again here on the Big Bad Glass Review with Amateur Girl and Fanboy.
Paul Rudd is a lifelong fan of the Kansas City Chiefs.
The 2007 edition of Hard Knocks featured the Chiefs with Paul Rudd as the narrator.
We did it, Morty! Now let's get out of here and destroy this whole universe. Excuse me? This is not a dance! I'm begging for help! I'm screaming for help! Please come let me out! Let me out! Let me out! This is not a dance! I'm begging for help!